Are you sick and tired of wasting your time and losing tons of money with no-shows? Well, in today's podcast, we're going to talk about how to fix it, how to get rid of them, and how to make sure every guest shows up, all on today's show.
Salon owners are some of the most amazing people on planet Earth. The only problem is sometimes their hearts are so big and they give so much of themselves to their staff and guests that it creates unintended consequences. Our goal is to change the industry by elevating the way the rest of the world sees salons, spas, and barbershops and give it the credibility that it truly deserves. This is the Salon Owner Evo Revo Show.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Salon Scale, allowing you to charge by what you know, not by what you feel. Welcome to today's show. I'm your host, Jason Everett, and with me is my partner in business, Mr. Doug Campbell. What's going on, man?
How's it going? Good to be here.
It's a good day. I think this topic comes up. We see it in forums all the time. This topic of no-show appointments. People are like, I had somebody booked, they no-showed me, and it was $500. Gone, vaporized, it's toast, it's out of here. That happens sometimes inside the salon. Let's talk about how to fix it. If you have that problem, say I do in the chat. If you have clients who book appointments, maybe even through the online booking system, they book them online and they just never show up. Are these ghost people? Do they exist? Do they really want their appointment ever? Or what the heck happened? Maybe it's your online system. Maybe that's broken. Who knows? But I think we've got some good tools on how to fix it. Doug, you got some good ideas on this. We've talked about this a lot with people inside the academy about how to fix this problem. So let's talk about it. Let's dive in. Let's do it. If you're excited, comment. I'm excited. Doug, let's talk about it.
And so I think, first of all, we're transitioning out of the COVID because COVID put an asterisk next to everyone's cancellation policy. Because, I mean, you can't really ding people for, I'm sick or
I've got a fever now. Sorry.
Right, you got to come in or we're going to hit you up for something. But we're moving out of that. Right. And so now then we're starting to, people are also taking advantage of some of that. So I think it's two things. One, you've got to have a policy. I talked to a salon the other day and they said, "Oh, we have a no-show policy. We just don't enforce it." And I was like, "Okay, well,
sounds accurate.
Right. It's like, so you realize you don't have a no-show policy then.
It's like having a speed limit, but having no police on the street to ever give you a ticket.
Right.
Then people are never going to follow it.
Right. It's like, so you got to put it, I'm glad you've worked on one. I'm glad you at least got the concept, but you got to put it out there. And I think it's important that you frame it in what's good for the client and not what's good for the salon. Because you're never going to win that one. We're losing time. We're losing money. They're like, I don't care. You're Nobody the one in business. Right. But I think if you frame it that it's so that we have people waiting to get in. And in order to respect our clients, to a policy in place so that people that need to get in can get in instead of appointments being eaten up by people that aren't going to show up. So, and again, is it 48 hours? Is it 24 hours? What is it? The other thing I think that's one of the problems is the online stuff. I think online booking's great. I mean, I was one of the ones that was resistant for years till we, finally I felt comfortable with it. We eased into it.
Yeah, there's a good system in place.
Right. I mean, it's gotten very clean, and I think you can't really do it without now. But one of the problems that's created is that people will go on and book that. And I don't think they're doing it out of ill intent, but they'll go and book with a couple of different salons and they get the price and then they go to the one that has the best time and the best price and they forget to go back and cancel the other appointments.
100%. And so I want to say this, Doug, because I think you brought up a good point about kind of like pre-COVID, then COVID, and then now. Not that we're out of the woods completely on COVID or anything, not to freak everybody out, because I know, Canada's still on levels of lockdown, all such stuff, just to give some clarity. But the idea is that before COVID, you had a little bit more authority if you wanted to get somebody and I would say get somebody in trouble almost, like enforce a policy, charge half of their appointment for a no-show or something like that. If it's an expensive appointment, they're going to spend $500 and they no-show. Clearly, that's going to cost you money. So, a lot of people are like, we charge half if they no-show, or we charge this, and like that was very easy to enforce. Then COVID, we kind of had to loosen some of that, and now we're coming back into where we can hold it. But I think one of the challenges, Doug, is that people want to enforce it like a penalty. They're like, well, you no-showed, so I want to charge you money, right? And I think that's the answer, is like they kind of go this like this level of like, I want to punish you for screwing me over or costing me money. And I think that the idea, instead of punishing them for doing it, is how do we take care of them and procure them correctly when they book that online appointment, do it. And you nailed it. You said people will book with you, they'll book with another salon, and they'll book with another salon because they'll go, oh, I can't get on your books for 2 weeks, but let me schedule that one and get it. Then they call another salon and find out they can get in this week. They schedule the new salon and they're like, I don't remember what that other appointment is. It doesn't cost me anything. I'm out of here. Right. And by the way, I just did this. I'm today, I got a doctor's appointment and they just confirmed it. And they actually used all the things that I want to teach you guys today. They used it to confirm me because I did exactly what you said, Doug. I called the doctor. They got me on, I was a new doctor for a new thing. And I went on and booked an appointment, and they were like 2 months out. So I called 3 other places. I found somebody who can get me in a week. So I booked the second one. I'll tell you right now, I didn't cancel the other appointment yet. And I was like, where is it? It's on my calendar. I'm not really sure. Where's the text? I don't know. It's a new place. I don't know what the name of it is. Right. And so this is the thing, is that people don't intentionally try to take money out of your pocket, but they do it because they're thinking in their interest versus in your interest. So what are some of the things that they can do, Doug, to make sure when that appointment gets booked that they actually show? Because I think you can't just treat an online booking like a real appointment. In fact, I would say that needs to be a appointment request until it's confirmed by a physical person.
Yeah, I mean, so you can do it a couple of ways. The way that I like best, the most seamless way is, and it can be in conjunction with other things, but doing a credit, that you can hold their credit card and you let them know, because if you book this, that brings a different level of awareness.
Right. Book this appointment with your credit card, not just book whatever you want whenever you block out 6 hours on my schedule.
Right. I mean, that does other things too with online booking. If you got a disgruntled employee or someone that's mad at a stylist, if there's no charge for going there and blowing their book up and putting a bunch of fake appointments on there, then they're probably going to do it. I mean, in the world that we live in now with the trolling and everything else, you got to protect yourself. So if you put a credit card charge on there, that's one way. But two, whenever it's an online booked appointment, you have your staff reach back out to them and confirm that it's, and the way to do that is like, we're making sure this is a real appointment. You're going to show up. That's we just want to make sure that you're booked for the correct thing. I think that's the way to reach out and make sure that, and that is a real thing.
You brought up a good point. Book for the right thing, because they don't know how long they need to be there for, or maybe they booked a haircut, but they want a full processing service. And like, they don't have the right amount of time booked anyway. So that's why you got to treat it like an appointment request. So somebody please type in online booking is an appointment request in the chat, because I think it's really important. You don't just go, well, they know what they're doing, we're just going to let them book it.
Right. I mean, now you didn't have that. We got the information on ours, and we explained to them, if you're a new guest, this is an appointment you need to book. You don't book this appointment. That information's there, but it never hurts to check back with people.
Double check.
Not everybody reads the small print. I know that's a shocker. I know that's crazy, but
I don't even read the big print half the time. Let's be honest.
So it's going back and double check. So you put the credit cards and you go back and double check. That really starts to help and now I think you just put you're part of your reward system, part of everything else for your regular clients can be based on that you don't have any no-shows or cancellations. And they're getting points with being, understand. I mean, if someone's in the hospital or,
sure. There's a level of grace that needs to exist here for sure.
Right. But I think they do the protocols beforehand, make sure that, and I prefer for as much of this to be done by your software system as possible. And by the way, the credit card, go ahead. And
go ahead. I was going to add too. Please go finish your thought.
And so a lot of times, in order to do a lot of this stuff online and it's a new way that it's done now, and I know why, I know where the money's being made, but almost every software system has a preferred credit card processing company that they work with. And if you don't go with their processing company, then you can't do some of these other features. You usually can't do
like credit card reservation and all that other stuff.
Right. Gift certificates, reservations, holding cards, all that stuff. So when you're shopping for a POS system, make sure that you compare their credit card processing, because that's something even though you love, I had one that I loved that was, outside of our software system that, can't remember the name of them now. But anyway, they were great. They consistently held our rate where they promised our rate would be. So that was great. But anyway, you need to make sure that you're integrated with it turns on so many other features. And I know it's one of those things, but that's just the way it's done now, because they get a piece of the pie basically for the processing, and it's a bulk sell.
So a couple things that are important to note here is number one is play with your software, see what is possible. Can you get credit card reservation, like to hold it, or say, hey, you'll be charged a $25 a hold fee or $50 a hold fee, especially for longer appointments. See if it gets integrated with your software. Now, I want to say some software, and again, we work with a ton of different software companies, throughout the salon world. Some of them have all this integrated worked in. Some of them have stack-ons or add-ons in the system. I know, inside of Mevo 2, I know inside of Forest, I know a lot of those guys have a lot of those tools. Some of the other software systems that are out there have some other integrations. We know the owner of Salon Clouds Plus. I was booked for the salon that I work with. They were using Salon Clouds Plus to confirm my appointment. So I was getting emails and text messages, but this is what I want to talk about. When we come back, I want to talk about what's the sequence that needs to be set up, so that whether you have your own software that does this or they do it, there's a tool to make sure, like a system to follow, to make sure that they actually show up for their appointments. We're going to talk about when we come back after this very short commercial break, so you can write this down, get out a pen, get out a paper. And if you want to know the system, comment system, because we'll give it to you right after we come back. Let's do it.
Hey, HPSA listeners, let me ask you this. Are you tired of not knowing what your hair color is costing you on every appointment and watching it chew up your profit? Well, with Salon Scale, we take the guesswork out for you. Using a mobile app paired with a Bluetooth scale, Salon Scale will tell you exactly what your color is costing you on every bowl mix down to the gram. As you mix, Salon Scale will also digitally store your formulas and track how much product is being used in real time, so you can manage your inventory, cover your expenses, and generate more profit in your salon. Use promo code HPSA10 to get 10% off an annual subscription. Salon Scale, the new standard for mixing color.
Welcome back, you guys. We're talking about how to prevent no-shows, how to prevent that money from just getting wasted on your books. If you have no-show issues, type no-show in the chat. I'd love to know from you as we're talking, whether you're on with us live or you're watching on replay or you're listening in your car driving to work. Just shout no-show at your radio. Totally fine. I will accept that as a type in the chat /shout at your radio while you're listening to the podcast. I said radio. I feel like I sound 100 years old. You can shout at your cell phone that you're playing the podcast on. Whatever works. Your AirPods, you can yell at them too. Totally fine. We'll make sure we do it. So I want to talk about this because I mentioned it's hilarious. I just got another text from these guys. This might be a little overkill. So let's talk about the follow-up sequence this doctor's office used to connect with me. So I went online. I booked the appointment. Okay. And I can't remember if I called or I went online. Either way, I booked the appointment. And immediately after booking the appointment, I received a text message saying, we've received your appointment. It's scheduled for this time and this day, and it had a button to add it to my calendar right from the text message. So I don't know if your software will do that, but there's some pretty cool things in here. And I could add the appointment directly to my calendar. Okay, so that was immediately upon booking the appointment. Now, I think I had called in, so they didn't do the phone call part, but I would recommend if they book online, like Doug said, that you then send them a text message. So super important. One sequence is send them a text message. The next is make a phone call to confirm all of the information and details. Okay. Then I think later in the day, I received another text message from them, which could be either on the same one or another one, that actually said, hey, we have a new client patient form. Now, for you, you might say I have a new client. Whether you're a med spa, you might have a new client patient form. If you're a regular salon, spa, barbershop, something like that, you might just say, hey, I have a get to know you form. We'd love to have you fill out in advance. Now, The reason why this is such an important detail here is that if they actually fill out that form, guess what that does? It raises their level of commitment to the actual appointment, right? Is now they filled out this new guest form as they're filling it out. And now if they were thinking about it, you've now made a really good first impression. You send them a text, you send them a new guest form, you fill all that stuff out. That's confirming more of that information. Then the next thing that happened for me on this appointment is 24 hours prior to my appointment, I received another text message saying, hey, we just want to confirm you're still good for tomorrow's appointment. Please respond yes or reschedule if you need to do it. So even 24 hours out, they checked in advance to make sure that appointment time was still good. Then I have the appointment later today. I got another text this morning saying, we're looking forward to seeing you today. Here's the information. Here's the address for the location. We're excited to have you. And then they also, in this version, they actually asked me to set up a new membership like client portal. Now that could be, I'm just putting this out there for you, that could be maybe even signing up for your loyalty program or making sure they do a pre-form before they arrive or something like that. And so now, as I'm getting these messages, my commitment level, like if I'm not going to be there today, one of those messages I would probably respond to and say, oh yeah, sorry, I'm not coming, or I might make a phone call, but at least they're protecting themselves. Internally here at our office, if you were to book on my calendar, we were to have an appointment and you no-showed on me, I know that that's usually my fault. So what do I mean by that? Why is it my fault that you no-showed? Because that's how I look at it in the office. Is because in our office, the policy is somebody from our team will reach out to somebody in 24 hours in advance and confirm that appointment. Because if we haven't heard from you within 24 hours, it's possible that something in your life happened and prevented you from coming to the appointment. So if 24 hours out, we reach out to that person and they don't say anything, then that no longer is a confirmed appointment. And the language around that, like Doug said, is really important to say, due to the high demand for what we do in the salon right now, we want to make sure that every client has an opportunity to book, and we have you booked for an appointment tomorrow. We just wanted to confirm that you're going to be able to make it so that we can, allow other clients who've been waiting to book to be on the calendar if you're not going to be able to make it. And that probably, again, in the interest of other clients' benefit, instead of like, I don't want you to no-show on me, so are you coming tomorrow? Right? Again, make it about the client benefit, and it makes a huge difference in how you confirm. So is that helpful? Is that system helpful? If it is, do me a favor and comment helpful on here. I'd love to know. Let's see. Tony's got a question on here. Great question, Tony. She said, so I have a policy, but legally the guest is supposed to sign an agreement stating that they can be charged if a late occurs and people have disputed the charges. All right. So you've had a legal issue with that. Doug, do you want to weigh in on that? I've got some ideas.
Sure. Like online, you can easily put it up, and some of them already have it in there because of it. That by clicking this, by entering your credit card, you agree to pay any charges due to da 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 da.
Right.
And then for your regular clients, you can send out an email stating the same thing. So you please reply to this email in the affirmative or the negative that you're willing to, and again state, in order to serve our clients better and make sure that we can get people in and prevent people from not being there and taking appointments away from other guests. Right. This is our policy, and have them sign it or have them agree to it.
Right. Tony with some good questions today. So the second question she said, so when we're doing our confirmations and they do not answer or call us back, should we cancel these appointments? So
I would take that. Yeah, I would take that down the road of, if it happens once, okay. But if it's happened before, if it's a consistent thing, then I would say, and I would put that in the message. If you do not,
it's got to be in the message.
Right. If you do not reply to this text, or if you do not call us back, we will be canceling your appointment. So we need to know.
Language on that, Tony, would be really easy. Just say, due to the high demand for our services, if we cannot confirm your appointment within 24 hours and hear back from you, we will need to cancel this appointment to allow other people to book in. And I'll tell you what, the problem that I see, Tony, most often is not, how do I say this? It's not that people aren't reaching out. It's they're reaching out with the wrong language. Okay. Right. So when you send a message to somebody and you just say, hey, we have you down for an appointment tomorrow, period. And you're like, but they didn't reach out to me. Okay, well, yeah, I wouldn't reach out either because you sent me a message that says, I have you down for an appointment tomorrow. Like, if we were hanging out, Tony, I'm like, hey, we got a lunch tomorrow. And I sent you a message say, like, see you at lunch tomorrow. And you don't reply back. But if I sent you a message, Tony, and said, hey, Tony, we've got lunch tomorrow. Are we still on? Question mark.
All right.
You didn't reply. Well, that would be weird, right? Now, if I'm like, well, look, I know Tony doesn't always reply, like, hey, we're still on for lunch tomorrow. You're like, yeah, duh, I booked it 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's still on. What if I sent you a message and said, hey, Tony, I had something come up and somebody asked me if I could have lunch tomorrow. And since I haven't heard from you, I wanted to make sure we were still on. Are we still on? Right? Now, all of a sudden you're like, oh crap. Yeah, it's still on. Let's have a lunch together. So just think of it like this, is that if the true communication is the response you get. So if you're not getting a response, it's probably because you're not asking for a response. And even just in this, and I've seen this happen a lot because even the doctor just did this to me today. They usually just say, we have you down for an appointment. Here's your information. And then they're like, and they say, reply yes or no. And that's okay, the reply yes or no. But I would literally ask the question, be like, we need to confirm this with a yes in order for you to keep this appointment. Please reply back with a yes.
Right.
And like, as soon as you add that changes the dynamic. Sorry, go ahead.
I say it's the Jeopardy piece. I mean, you get people's attention. If you just look at it and you're busy, you go, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know, I got it," and you just move on with your day. Right. But if you condition people and say, "Look, you need to respond to this in order to keep it," with our high volume, we got to make sure that everybody's showing up. We got a wait list. If you do not confirm, we will give your appointment to somebody on our wait list.
Please and then they'll be like, "I'm sorry, yes, I'm coming. I'm coming. I promise, I'm coming. Please don't cancel it. Here's my credit card."
And the backside of that, I think also it says we respect people on our wait list. So if you ever end up on our wait list, we know that we're actively trying to find you an appointment by trying to weed out no-shows ahead of time so that we can serve you. I mean, that's the unstated part of what's being said in that message. I think you got to listen to think about that whole concept of it's always what's in it for me. I mean, Nobody, if you ever frame it that it's about your business or even that it's about your employees, you're going to lose because people are like, I don't care. I'm the client. I'm always right. All that good stuff.
Yeah. And I want to add this last piece too for Tony and everybody else listening. And again, if this is helpful, do me a favor and say super helpful in the chat or throw some exclamation marks in there just so I know you guys are getting some good stuff. But I also want to throw this out here is that, again, our policy here internally is that if you initially we do a text message and ideally we want that to be an automated text message that goes out. And that's kind of like the easiest thing to do, right? If your software can send out a text message and they reply to that, then that's ideal. However, if let's say the day before the text message goes out in the morning and say, hey, you have an appointment for the next day. The receptionist at the salon should look at all those appointments. And if by noon or by 1 o'clock or whatever time of day you want to designate it, they haven't heard back from a certain number of guests, that's when they should now pick up the phone and call, if they have time to do this, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, we sent you a text to confirm you for tomorrow. Before I cancel out your appointment, because we have a wait list, I need to get confirmation. If you call me back before this time, I can confirm it. However, if I don't hear from you, I will have to cancel you out for the wait list, right? Like something like that. And then by 4 o'clock, you open up the wait list, right? You open up the guest to the wait list for 24 hours in advance. And I'll tell you, man, you behave that way as a salon. And I promise you, your clients will love you for it because they know how tight your policy is. I go back to what Doug said earlier about people who said, well, we have a policy, but we don't enforce it. Okay. People love to know what they're walking into. And when they know you operate your business like a smooth operation like that, believe it or not, people do respect it. They will respect it and they will follow the policy. And again, going back to if this is a new guest that they're the first time on your calendar, again, remember, make sure that a first time guest has a slightly different level of confirmation and slightly different kid gloves that you treat them with versus a guest who's been on your appointment forever who never confirms anything. You know what I mean? And sometimes guests are like, look, I don't need to be confirmed. I'll be there. It's fine. And you got to figure out how do you handle that internally with your own system. So anyway, I hope this has been good for you guys.
I mean, we do have some of those that just please don't give me all the confirmation. I'll be here. Fine, as long as they stick to that.
And they understand that if they no-show, there is a policy in place that they've already signed off on. That's the, and again, you wouldn't let somebody stay on your calendar if they half the time no-showed, right?
Right. All right. That's the thing. So we do have some clients who say, look, you've got to book day of. And you got whoever, if there's no one available, well, I'm sorry. We just can't. I mean, you've done it 2 or 3 times. We can't. We're not going to do that.
Totally. So guys, again, rely on your software. Put a system in place, mind map it out. It gives me a great idea, Doug. We should actually set up a mind map for confirmations to like show salon owners. If you guys would be helpful, if that would be helpful for you and you want access to that, do me a favor and comment mind map and we'll build one. We'll show you the mind map that actually shows you where the appointment confirmations go and maybe some of the verbiage even that goes in there. I think that could be a really cool resource just so that you can add it to your software. Because I'll tell you, even though the software may do those confirmations, I'm pretty sure most software won't use the language that Doug and I just said. And so even though the tool will do it, remember, your software is not your business coach, right? So they'll put the thing in there, but they might have the bad language that doesn't get people to confirm. So you need to still change the language with your software company so that it is in your advantage. So anyway, guys, thanks for being on for the podcast today. Hope this was a helpful topic. Share it with a friend, tag somebody, show your team. Let's talk about it. Let's get it solved. And if you want more help for your salon of how to make it more profitable, more efficient, so you can run an amazing salon with an amazing group of people, do me a favor and comment support. And somebody from our team will reach out to you. We'll schedule you what's called a fast chat or brainstorm with you some great ideas and get you moving. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Doug, as always, great chatting with you and discussing all these ideas that are important for salon and spa and barbershops. Thank you so much.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Evo Revo podcast.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Salon Scale, allowing you to charge by what you know, not by what you feel.
Please subscribe, leave us a review, and you can always get more information, including show notes and the video episodes at evorevopodcast.com.